Hi, Jay.
Hi.
Thanks for coming to meet me today. Do you know why I called you in to meet today?
I think I do.
Yeah. So the last time we met was when we did our test together, and I wanted to just follow up with you about that and talk about sort of our experience on the test day and how you did and what the plan is going forward together.
Okay.
How did you find the test we did together?
Pretty. I guess pretty comfortable. Tests usually give some anxiety. So yeah, it was nice to, I guess, have an experience where it was pretty non-pressure and
Awesome.
and comfortable.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I noticed, we talked before we did the test together, and I noticed during the test that you were using some strategies that we talked about to sort of avoid getting fatigued and avoid getting frustrated.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was fantastic, the way you worked through the test, and sort of it seemed really breezy, which is amazing. I remember we had a conversation about how you felt going into the math. Do you recall how you explained to me how you felt about math?
Yeah, well, I kind of hate math. I've felt like I've never been great at it, and definitely like I feel like I'm behind,
Right.
especially when I look at how other people are doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, not my favorite.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, looking at the scores together, we can have a look at the things that you did, and we'll kind of get back to your confidence in a second, because I think that you might be surprised.
Okay.
So we'll look at the reading and writing composites first. Now, just looking at these, where this is a pretty complex score table, so just look at these notes right here. So for your reading test, you scored above average. And so that's for the average person your age and your grade, and that's fantastic to do above average. These standard scores here, it's sort of 100 is the number that sort of the average student kind of attains. So for your reading, you scored 119, and for your writing, you scored 127. So your writing is actually in the high category. So both your reading and your writing were fantastic.
So 100 is average.
Right, so the average student will score 100 on this,
Okay.
on this test. Yeah, so your reading and writing is fantastic.
Okay.
So just like we thought, we didn't have too many issues about that, and the test sort of proves that.
Yeah.
And so the different classes that you have, where you have reading to do or writing to do, we're not going to really make any changes to those classes at all, because you're obviously doing awesome in those areas.
Okay.
Looking at your math, I remember the conversation you were telling me about not feeling like super confident. I was not surprised by this score, but I think that maybe you will be. So out of that 100, you're at the 94 as a standard score, which is right in the average range. So I know you were explaining how you sort of felt like you were feeling behind and compared to other kids in class, and that you felt like you weren't quite there. You are totally right in the middle. You're right in the average range. So that's really fantastic.
Okay.
Does that change your confidence, knowing that you're sort of in the average range?
I guess you're saying average is good, or
Absolutely. It's really challenging to be good in all areas, to like score in a high area. And so doing an average job in math, especially when it's not your preferred subject, is fantastic. Yeah, it's really great. So I'm really pleased with the results, and I think you should be too, especially because math doesn't necessarily come easily to you. So hopefully that's kind of a jolt of confidence. Hopefully, my hope is that like this is a pretty formal test, right? So it's kind of nice to know that despite the way you feel or despite what your brain tells you, you're actually scoring pretty decently.
okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So considering the test that we did and the talk we had beforehand, I want to talk about what sort of the next steps are. Like I said, I wasn't really surprised by your results. I was certainly impressed, but not surprised, because I kind of felt like you had the ability to achieve these scores. I know that currently for math, what are we doing for your math right now? So I guess we talked to your teacher, right? So if you wanted extra time for tests or assignments that's in place. Has that worked for you so far?
Yeah, extra time is definitely good.
Yeah.
I definitely need time to kind of reread the questions a lot.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I guess with me second guessing myself a lot, that's the extra time is good.
Yeah. I know we went to the math center that one time to introduce you to the math center teacher, and explained how you'd have access to that over the lunch hours. But I don't notice you using the math center much. So maybe I'm not sure if it would make you more comfortable. Maybe we can go in again and I can reintroduce you to the teacher. I'm not sure that would be helpful, but that's still going to be on the table. And then the last thing we wanted to do is I was talking with some other learning support teachers, and we thought it'd be a really great idea to sort of just check in with you every couple of weeks. Maybe check in with your math teacher every month or so, just to sort of like see how you were feeling about math, that you're still on track. And it's interesting because it seems like the way you feel about math is a little bit different than the way you actually perform at math. So maybe we can just connect every couple of weeks or every month or so and just sort of like get your brain back on board with like, you know what, you are smart enough for this, you are getting through this, you are having success with this. And so hopefully using some of these strategies going forward, we can start to feel more confidence about our math.
Okay, cool.
Did you have any questions or comments at all about this whole process or anything going forward or any issues you had with anything?
I don't think so. Yeah, like I said, it was cool that it was kind of a less pressured situation.
Yeah.
Definitely felt different from like a classroom
Right.
test.
Right.
So I wonder if that can change how I do tests.
Maybe. Yeah, what we can do, maybe we can even consider getting you a different space for your tests to go along with that extra time. Somewhere where you might not feel the pressure to perform next to some of your classmates potentially. I'm not sure sort of where your pressure might be coming from, but we can definitely try that for sure.
Cool.
The last thing I wanted to say was not every student does this kind of assessment, and not every student takes this kind of assessment seriously. And so I'm really proud of the way you approached this whole process and did your best, and you sort of bought into the process of this, even though it's kind of an unusual thing that you haven't done before. So I really appreciate that, and I'm proud of you for sticking with it and persevering through everything. And it was a really great experience for me as well.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Well, have a good rest of your day, and looking forward to chatting with you again.
Cool, thank you.
You bet.